one of the most essential pieces or parts of a sugar bush is an access system. So maple producers need to have trails to move equipment and potentially sap in and out of the sugar bush. How you make those trails or roads and how you maintain them is an important part of the long-term health and sustainability of your sugar bush. So there's the key part of the trail, two key pieces that are most important. One is that the trails need to take you wherever you need to go, and secondly, the trails need to be constructed in a way that you can manage small amounts of slow moving water. So to manage small amounts of slow moving water, you can do things to your trail like create small depressions and bumps that deflect the water off to the side. As you look up this trail, you see that it's not a straight line up the hill, but it has some curvature to it. So if there's water on that trail, then when it comes to one of those curves, the water will be inclined to move off into the forest. There's a whole variety of what are called water control structures. Your state forestry agency will have a fact sheet or some kind of a bulletin that will describe those to you. When you're if you're doing any kind of harvesting, your loggers will be familiar, your forester will be familiar with how to make sure that these best management practices, or BMPs, are put into place and utilized to maintain the long-term viability of those trails. A trail can be too steep, but a trail can also be too flat. If a trail that's too flat will hold water, the water will pond, and then if you drive a vehicle through it, then you will develop mud holes and depressions, and you can have problems. So minimally you want to have about 3%, but not more than 10% slope. But you have to work with whatever topography you have. Trails that are used for logging oftentimes have some damage to trees that are adjacent to those logging trails. The logging trails are also called a skid trail. So this sugar maple tree is on the edge of a skid trail that was used for harvesting, and you can see that when the logging took place, this would have been logging a very long time ago, more than a decade. Some of the logs bumped up against this tree. So this tree is what we call a bumper tree. So at some level it's sacrificial. It's important to work with loggers that are conscientious, but even the most conscientious logger will sometimes have a little bit of damage. But all of your trees along the skid trail should not be damaged. So you can see that this tree was banged up, and this bark, this smooth bark, is what's called callus tissue, and that tree is trying to heal over the wound. So this tree will always have a wound. You can also see there was injury to the root systems. This is more concerning to the health of the tree because the root system is what connects the tree to the soil. A damaged root system means the tree is less able to absorb water, less able to absorb mineral nutrition, and less able to support the needs of the tree. The bumper tree, though, this tree protected a tree behind it to make sure that that tree didn't have any damage to it. So a bumper tree is not ideal, but sometimes it's a cost of doing business as part of a thinning or a forest harvesting operation.